Hey bestie, it's time for your next session of Real Talk Friend Therapy with your favorite big sister auntie queen, Daysha Veronica. What up, y'all? It is officially fall today as I'm recording. And let me tell you, I can already tell you that good things are coming. Oh my goodness, y'all. So if you could see the smile I have on my face, because people love to say that karma's a bitch, but I like to say karma is my bitch. Like, that's my homegirl, because she let me tell you what karma did for me, okay? Karma snatched the edges off my trifling, punk-ass former manager. Oh, that bitch is bald. Let me tell you, karma said, where the edges at? Where the edges at, bitch? Where the edges at? Where the edges at, bitch? And I said, they over there. Go get her. And that's all I'm going to say for now. But know that God is good. And karma, my girl, she a real one. But, okay, so for today's episode, and I might sound a little echoey because I am not in the normal room that I record in. But for today's episode, I am so excited to introduce y'all to my bestie of the last almost 20 years, Dee Smith, but I call her Dee. And Dee and I have been best friends since the start of high school, which for us, it was in 2006. And honestly, I can't believe that it's gonna be 20 years from 2006 so soon. This is fucking wild, blowing my mind. You'll actually hear in the episode, I get my math wrong a little bit. I always start counting from when we graduated high school, and so my years were a little off, but we met as freshmen in 2006 and have basically been conjoined ever since. I honestly don't even know how we ended up not living in the same state together, because we have just lived life in lockstep with one another for so long. I keep trying to tell her she needs to come back to California, so maybe y'all can help me out, help me persuade her, because I'm not moving to the Midwest. It's not happening. But I think California will be a great place for us to just continue to live our life together. But I feel like she's been there for every major life moment I've had since I was 14. So I knew she had to be my next guest for a series that I do here on the podcast called Why Are We Friends? We all like to say making friends as an adult is so hard and so difficult. So in this series, I interview my closest friends to figure out how we decided to call each other friends. What was that moment like? As well as to see if there's anything else we want to change about our relationship, any fears or concerns that we want to address. We get really real here. A few episodes back, I believe it was the episode about the line between love and friendship, I told a story about how my mom saw me looking sad on Valentine's Day one year in high school because I didn't have a boyfriend. So she gave me this necklace, and the necklace was all about how to live life with an open heart. And she told me to reconsider what it meant to have a soulmate, that it didn't have to be my romantic partner, that it could actually be my best friend, Dee. And that was the Dee I was talking about. And at the time, I wasn't super fond of that response, if I'm being real, because I felt like a loser. I was like, Mom, I know what you're doing here. I really appreciate it. But that's just so sad. But now that I'm older, I really, really, really appreciate my mom giving me permission to think like that, because in all honesty, I really do feel like Dee is my soulmate. I legit cannot imagine what my life would have been like without her in it. She's actually the person that helped me realize what it meant to be comfortable in a relationship with someone. Like, I can't tell you how many hours we've spent together doing absolutely nothing. And yet those moments aren't nothing to me because of how comfortable I felt being in her presence and not feeling like I had to be someone that I'm not. before meeting Dee, I feel like I struggled a lot with my blackness. I think I mentioned in the last episode that, like, you know, growing up, like, kids always used to say that I wanted to be this little white girl. And so when I finally got the opportunity to go to boarding school, like, I was just like, you know what? Fine. Like, all y'all bitches call me a little white girl anyway. Now I'm gonna be surrounded by white girls. I'll be with my people. And then finally, I was just like, I'll feel a sense of community. That is not what happened. That is not what happened at all. And it was actually funny because everybody just kept telling me how fucking black I was. And it was just so hard to deal with. And Dee is the first black person that I met that, you know, she didn't follow the rules of blackness. Like, Dee loves her Doc Martens. She introduced me to Paramore. She just did all of these different things. And the permission that I felt to just fully discover myself and what I like. And, you know, it's funny, you'll hear that when we first met, I was always like averse to so much shit. I'd be like, oh my gosh, that shit's so weird or whatever. But I always came around, and I can't imagine the person that I would be had I not met her. I am so comfortable and confident in my blackness now. And I truly think that Dee is such a huge part of that, because Dee just lives her life as Dee, and she just doesn't give a shit. But she like doesn't give a shit in a very like chill and mellow way. Like, I loudly don't give a shit. Like, Dee truly just does her, and she just doesn't care if you vibe with what she vibes with or not. And I've always admired that and loved that about her. And I just don't think I would be as comfortable or as confident in my blackness were it not for her. So to be exposed to someone like that at 14 years old, I mean, if I ever felt lost in who I was, I just always knew that I could talk to her and recalibrate. And she is truly what I would call my home base and my soulmate. So, okay, y'all, here it is. My conversation with my bestie from another testie, Dee Smith. Dee, how are you feeling today that you finally made it?
I'm feeling very excited. I will have you know that, like, I literally just got through the door at 4:45 coming from Madison, Wisconsin, but I made it on time. My technical difficulties made it to where we didn't necessarily start on time, but I am here and on time today.
I was blowing Dee up. I was like, Dee, did you see that I called
I'm not going to answer. I did. I was like, I can't answer right now because I'm not ready. I will be at 5, but we're good.
As true best friends do. Okay, so this episode of the podcast is part of a series that I do. It's called Why Are We Friends? And as you know, this podcast is all about friendship. And we really struggle, and when I say we, I mean adults, with friendship in a way that I find to be fascinating, because when we were younger, it was very simple and very easy, very breezy. And so I'm trying to go into my own relationships and kind of think about how did we become friends, and kind of see if there is anything that audiences can take for themselves as they're on their own friend-making journeys. All right, my first question for you, how did we meet? In your recollection, how did we meet?
That's a great question. And I will preface this and say that my memory is not great, as you know. But from what I remember, announcements was in like alphabetical order. And me and Daysha were next to each other for the D's. And I think I came first. And then you came to sit down. And she's always been an extrovert, but she was like very excited to come and sit next to me.
I am not an extrovert. She
has a very extroverted appearance or way of living her life when you first meet her sometimes, especially in high school. And if that's not the case, it was with me when you met me. So she sat down.
No, you keep going. I'm going to add context later.
she sat down and she just started asking all these questions and it was like very much like very friendly and like wanting to like learn more about me and like just get to know each other, which I appreciated as like a new person in the high school. I just wasn't expecting the like level of excitement and it never like died down. Anytime like she came to come see me, she would always go, Dee, Dee, and like would always like just really, make herself known that I was there and she was looking for me. And so I appreciated that about her. More so definitely as an adult, I'm like, okay, she was a good friend and like an always there friend. But in high school, I was a quiet, very introverted individual. And so we were like opposites in that way. But yeah, we got along really well. We were like we were the only two black women, black teens.
Don't forget about Jenna.
Black girls. Yes, Jenna. That's what, yeah. Okay, I was like, was there only two? There was three, but there were three of us to start. So there wasn't many of us in our class. And so it was nice to see another familiar face that looked like you for sure in the school that we attended. And she was just cool. She was a nice vibe. She was low key, but she was also energetic. She like was there to support you when you need it. She was a breath of fresh air. She was always open and honest. And like you knew where you stood with her, which was nice.
Oh my God, Dee.
And we just had common interests. So that's actually, that's more than how we met, but there we go.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. It might be different actually. I feel like that might be like when we got to know each other. I don't know. That's what I remember for our first meeting.
Okay. So this is my side. So Dee forgot the context of the fact that we went to a private, predominantly white.
I remember the context.
But you ain't say it. So we went to a predominantly white private boarding and day school. Okay. And so even though our school was small, we're still like 13, 14 years old. And I only grew up around black and brown kids. I mean, we had the token white kids, but like, so this was a different environment. And so I actually remember seeing Dee. So when we had an orientation and I remember seeing Dee like across the field.
I forgot about orientation. I forgot all about that. Okay,
we had orientation and I saw Dee across the field and I was like, oh my God, this is another black girl. Oh my God. And I was like, that's going to be my best friend. She didn't know it, but I knew it. I said, I'm going to make that girl my best friend.
Those are like verbatim words. She did say that, yes.
And so, yeah, that's why I was always so excited to see her, because literally, if I didn't see her, it was nothing but white people I'd done all day. And again, not that white people are bad, but like when you're 13 years old, and it was just culture shock. And it was weird because where I grew up, I had always been told that I was like a white girl anyway. So then at a certain point, I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe now I'll get to be with my people. And I won't, I won't be acting. I'll just be with my people. And then I realized, I was like, oh no, white people are also their own special breed of, like, this is not. So yeah, that's why I was always very happy to see you, Dee.
I see. Okay. I guess, and for my part, I went to school, like I grew up in a black neighborhood, went to like a black Catholic school, but then like third grade hit, and then I went to a different school every year. So most of them are predominantly black or mixed. So like I had been around white people at that point and like other different races. But as she said, it was still a culture shock because there's literally, and I love Concord Academy, but it was like a sea of white. Like I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
And so it's just very different. And I never got called, like, I did it when I got older, but like nobody ever was like, oh, you're like, you talk white, or like you like are the white black girl. And so I didn't know how to react or respond to like being in such a predominantly white space, because I still felt like I had been pretty good with the like black people in my space when I would go home. So it was different. And I don't remember orientation and you yelling at me across from the quad, but
well, I didn't yell.
Okay, there we go. Like, I don't remember that, but maybe
I didn't yell across the quad. It was more so a thought I had in my head. Like,
I see. Okay.
I didn't say, "Hey, black girl, you gonna be my best." Although
you did say that later, though. I do distinctly remember you said you're gonna be my friend.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I didn't yell it across the.
You did not. You did not. You did not. That's fair.
Yeah, so that's why I was always so happy to see Dee. And hold on, my mic is doing like weird shit. So all right. So after all of the technical difficulties, we figured it out. It's happening. Okay, so back in how we met. I mean, I hate being like, it was because you're Black, because I know that there was more to it. But I mean, I think in that moment, I was just like, I'm very overwhelmed by the amount of white people that I am around right now. But then, like Dee said, so when you're a freshman, they had you sit in seating arrangements. And so we would have announcements 2 times a week. And so the seating arrangement for announcements was by your first name, the letter of your first name. And so Daysha, Dee. And so Dee and I sat next to each other. And I think that allowed us to get really close because we sat next to each other. And I already said that she was going to be my best friend. So I basically manifested this relationship. And then even though Dee thinks that I'm an extrovert, which I am not.
I know you're an extrovert. She's not. You're right. You're not you're not an extrovert. But you exhibit that. People will not know that about you.
I can be a lot, I think, but it depends on when you meet me, because there are some people who I think would say, wow, like, I think that you can be really quiet and reserved. And then there's people like you where I know I think back sometimes and I was like, I was a little extra back then.
You have definitely, you still have the same energy, but you've mellowed out like over the years. But like you in high school were often, and not just because you were a lot, you were just doing a lot. Not like personality wise, like you have to be a little bit extroverted for the amount of things that you were doing.
Fair. But yes, I was very excited to see you, Dee, always.
You were. Mm-hmm. And I was always excited to see you too. I was just very much this is me in high school. The same, what you're seeing now is what you're seeing in high school. So that part has not changed. But I was always excited to see Daysha. Yeah, she's my best friend.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dee is super mellow, super chill. She's the yin to my yang, even though we're both introverts. And I will say, I mean, it was already good. Like, it would have been awful had we not been good friends, because we were both Black girls who wore glasses and names started with the letter D. So I was called D. And then we went to a predominantly white school. So we were always getting mistaken for one another, or at least I was getting called D by other people.
Too many people didn't call me D. Surprised, I mean, not D, Daysha. But I do feel like, did a lot of people call you Day? Or did they call you Daysha? I feel like some people called you.
It depended. I mean, I will say that, again, you kept it real simple with a nickname that is one letter or like short, you know.
I didn't mean
and
to at all.
I think a lot of people, it could have been racism, or it could have been that they were just being lazy.
It wasn't. They asked me, they were like, so what do you prefer to be called by? And now I do remember orientation. And that's when it happened, because there's some sort of circle and they were like, what name do you want to be called? And so, not thinking about it, because my family called me this, I said D. And then when we got our ID cards, it said D. And I'm like, I didn't ask for it like as a formal name, but I was like, I guess that I might have been like too lazy to change it, and I didn't know how you could change it. So I just left it, and it was on everything. I didn't realize it had switched everything over just from that like one statement, because I didn't know preferred name and like, what do you want to be called for the rest of your life at that point. And so that's how people now know me as D. But it was definitely an accident, and it was supposed to only be for like really like close people. So I don't even know why I said it. But
no, I wasn't saying that they called you D out of racism, that they called me D out of
D. Oh,
because maybe. It was either that, like they were too lazy to say Daysha, or they could have gotten us mixed up. Who knows?
Probably.
But okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I remember from when we first met. You took to me really well for, like, again, considering like how introverted you were and how much energy that I was constantly throwing your way. The fact that you just embraced that I was like a little nutcase is a testament.
I think because I like people with high energy, because I think we balance each other out. So like one of my really good friends that I still have from grade school, she's actually like pretty mellow too, but she was one of those people who will like beat you up if you say the wrong thing. Like she was very like she was ready for anything. And we became like really good friends. And I think a lot of people say that I'm very calming. And then for the people who are not calming, I'm like, you give me like a nice little boost of energy that I probably need. And so it works well together. And so like you were definitely that for me. And I think sometimes I can be shy. And so having someone who's like ready to just like go and meet and mingle and have that as your like side buddy is always really nice. And that was definitely you. Yeah. I was like, I like her. She's very authentic. I don't feel like she's lying to me. I feel like we like vibe really well. We like the same stuff. So
what was so funny is that, you know, if you follow astrology, I am a Leo and Dee is an Aries. And so we were like meant to be a best friend match made in heaven. I just hope you know that.
I did not know that, but now
yes. Yeah. Because you're also very direct too.
I am. Yeah. My mom is a Leo, actually. We get along pretty well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, your directness is funny because like mine is like with all of this energy, and then yours is very like calming, and then you're just like, damn, D. Like with me, I think you can see it coming. With you, I don't see it coming.
I don't, people have told me I'm direct, and so now I believe it. But I feel like I'm like very gentle in my delivery. But if you ask me something, like I'm going to be, like, why wouldn't I be honest? You asked me for my opinion.
Yes, Dee. And I love and appreciate that. I'm just saying that with that calm and gentle voice, you just don't expect it, which will lead you to be like, damn, Dee.
Okay, I'll take it.
But it's good. I value it. I never want you to lose that quality about yourself. But yeah, you know, where there were 4 Black kids in our grade, 1 didn't make it, so it ended up just being the 3 of us. And it was a wild time. Okay. I mean, I guess you kind of already answered this. The next question was like, what was your initial first impression of me? But just in case there's anything you might have forgotten.
Oh, like my initial first impression were that, you were loud. Okay. I was like, there's a lot of energy being thrown my way. And then it was definitely that. It was like, you reminded me of like home a little bit, because I was like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it other than like you reminded me of home, because I came from like a school that had a lot of different socioeconomic classes, a lot of different cultures. And like, I'm not saying that there's a stereotypical way to be Black, because there's not, but it just reminded me of the Black people that I interacted with in school. And so it just made me feel like, oh, like this is somebody that I know and I know how to like talk to. Like, I feel like that was part of it too. Like you didn't know how to talk to everybody at school yet, because you didn't even know. I don't know, it was weird because people are coming from different backgrounds and different experiences. And a lot of times they don't understand your experience as a Black individual. And I just knew that I didn't have to deal with that with you. And that wasn't something that I would have to ever like encounter. Like we had a similar lived experience, like right off the bat. And I think that goes a long way. And I think that's something that you don't even really think about. Like as a 14-year-old, like my mind wasn't thinking about it that way. But like as 32-year-old me, I'm like, oh yeah, like she felt comfortable and she felt comforting.
Oh, Dee.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? Because like, I'm like, man, I was real rough around the edges. But again, it's weird because where I came from, I was known as being a little white girl. And then I went to CA and everyone, like, it was just like, oh my gosh, you are so Black. And like, that was like a really hard thing for me to hold. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know, like, I just think back to... I was such a mess. I would be wearing my little like baby fat track suits and my baby fat jackets and my Rockaware whatever, and my fake Louis scarves, and like I gave no fucks. I think I would roll up with like my headscarf on. So yeah, it was a time.
It is surprising that to me anyone ever like questioned that you were Black. Like that's strange to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I think honestly, but like they questioned my Blackness for like the dumbest shit. Like it was just like, oh, you know, you like school and you read. Get out of here, white girl. And I'm like, you do realize like you're calling yourself stupid, right? But okay, go off. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, oh my goodness, a time to be alive. a time to be alive. I'm trying to think. But yeah, no, my first impression of you was that I knew that you were a little quiet. But yeah, I think I also got that you were very real. And I just remember, so at the time, I should also say, I really wanted to be a boarding student, but I didn't get the financial aid. So I was a day student and Dee was a boarding student. And so I was like sleeping over all the time. I just remember like we would just do like really silly shit around campus. Do you remember? Like on Friday nights, I was just like there and we would like...
We go visit other dorms, go hang out in the library, go hang out in the Stew-Fac. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the Stew-Fac. So the Stew-Fac was basically our cafeteria. And we would just be sitting there for hours just talking about like the randomest things with like the other like black and brown kids. But yeah, I just felt like you would make like a good partner in crime, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Thank you.
I'd be like,
I hope so.
I feel like I was like, you want to do some silly shit? And you'd be like, yeah, okay.
That is very much me. Probably to a detriment. I'll try anything once. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh my God. I mean, the big thing is just that I knew I wanted you to be my friend. And the funny thing is about Dee though, because like I was the one that like you would assume would be up to hijinks, but Dee had hijinks too. Like, do you remember when you made me roll down that hill, down the side of the highway?
I don't feel like that was a hijinks. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't do any hijinks.
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't feel like a hijinks though. I was just trying to go to Borders.
Still,
I wasn't even trying to get into anything bad. I was trying to go read.
But still,
the only reason it made it a hijinks was like, because I think that's after you were recovering from your leg injury from the bus incident. Yes. And so you probably shouldn't have been like trying to cross highways, but like I was still looking out for you. I wouldn't have like had you get hit. I was very much still protective of you and I knew you could make it, which is why I was like, we can do this. Like you can make it. It wasn't a busy highway. And we did make it. She didn't have any issues.
We did make it, but still.
Active bravery. Look at where you are now.
Still. I mean, rolling down hills and running across highways.
I forgot about that.
For books.
You had a great time. And it wasn't just me who went. A whole bunch of us went. And we had such a good time that night. It was it was fun.
We did. I will not take that away from that. That was a really fun night. But I think that's the other thing that really bonded us was books. And I feel like, because I will say, you know what? Because now I'm remembering, again, I am very extra. I was extra and direct. So Dee would like try to like introduce me to shit. And I'd be like, ew, no.
That's true. And I would get mad because she would like it later. Like 2 months later, she's like, oh, I'm looking at this. And I'm like, I told you about this earlier and you said you didn't like it. I remember that.
Yep. So yeah, I was always like, ew, no, I want to do that. I want to try that. That's gross. And then, but I would do it. I would always do it. And then I'd be like, yeah, that's not that bad.
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah. So I think I appreciated that you could stick through the fact that I was just doing a lot.
I wouldn't steer you the wrong way. So I'm persistent, quietly persistent.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like I remember it was bubble tea. I was like, it was nasty. And then eventually I fell in love with it. That was because of Dee. And then, so Dee would make a grilled cheese with jelly on top. And I was like, absolutely not, Dee. And she's like, come on, just try it. That was your thing. You were always trying to get me to try things, like different like food concoctions. I think you tried to get me to try like
your palate.
And lemonade. Do you remember that? A chocolate chip cookie and lemonade?
You know what? That was, I can rescind that one a little bit. That was a special circumstance because it was that particular cookie and that particular lemonade. I don't think you could do it with all of them. I don't think I've even encountered another one where you could do that with. But at the time, that one happened to be good.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. You would be like quietly doing stuff and then I'd be reacting all loudly.
That's true. That is true. Okay, I'll give you that. I do feel like, though, by the end of it, you could like trust my judgment. And so, there was less of that. You might side-eye me, but you try it. And I feel like that's what matters here.
But yeah, no, the grilled cheese and the jelly was bomb when I eventually tried it. And there was one more thing that...
And for those of you who have not tried it, I highly recommend you do with strawberry or raspberry or grape jam. It's like a Monte Cristo minus the ham. It's still very good. It's like sweet and savory. That's like a great combination.
It was on point. I will co-sign after all of my...
But do you make it? That's like the big thing. Do you make it now?
I don't make it now, but I don't really eat grilled cheese now.
You don't eat grilled cheese? No, really? I feel like that's such a comfort food.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the fact that I'm like, it's just cheese in bread. Like, if there's something else inside of the grilled cheese, I'm about it. But otherwise, I'm like, I don't know. It feels so empty. It's just cheese and bread.
Are you serious right now? Wait, really?
Serious. Yeah.
You like cheesy bread, though. You'll eat that on its own.
I will, but it's prepared differently.
It is literally cheese, butter, and bread. It is the exact same thing.
But if it's prepared, because you're having pizza dough, D, because I'm real, the types of, it's not just, the pizza dough makes the experience different than just regular sandwich bread. Okay. In a sandwich bread, I need more going on in between the slices. If you can see Dee's face.
Okay. I'm not supposed to judge people and their eating habits. I will not judge you here, but I feel like you're making excuses. That's fine.
It's different. It is. Sorry.
Okay. Here we are.
I mean, if you want to make me a grilled cheese with jelly when you come to visit me, I will eat it, but I don't do it on my own anymore.
And I got into grilled cheese and tomato soup. I don't really know what the hype was about, but I tried it. I tried some good tomato soup with it. It was good. So now that it has been added, I really didn't understand why someone would have tomato soup, because I'm why would you eat tomato soup? But it tastes good. So, anybody can be convinced of things. I'm sure you just forgot how good it tastes.
Right. Mm-hmm. But yes, I do remember we bonded over books a lot. We loved to go to Borders, because Borders doesn't exist anymore, but it was basically Barnes and Nobles.
Right. That's such a travesty. Borders was so much better, but I'm not going to go into that anyway. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's fine. And I remember Dee. So again, in my pattern of rejecting and then liking, Dee was really into anime and was it manga? Manga. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dee was really into manga, and then so this other girl that we knew, Martine, she was into manga, right?
Mm-hmm. Martine. I'm not gonna say her. I almost said her last name. Yeah, Martine.
Yeah. And so then I was like, "What's this? This is weird." And then I would read it. Well, so they were able to get me into it, though, because it was a really dirty manga. And of course, I was 14 and I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Let me preface, though, that is not what we started you on. We tried to get you to read the age-appropriate manga. And I don't know if I don't know what happened to where we got you into it. But I did try to give you the cute, shoujo beat, little coming-of-age romance.
No.
And I think I happened to have been reading one of the ones that was more mature. And you're like, what am I seeing? But I was not trying to.
No, you corrupted my little young spirit, and she did it quietly.
She was happy to be corrupted. She was very excited when she found something that she was interested in. So I don't think that came from me. That was all you. It was already in you. So there we go.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So what was the moment that made you realize that I was your friend? So we obviously hung out a bunch and did a bunch of stuff. But when did you say that, when did it become real to you that I was your friend?
I feel like that's a hard question for me, because I feel like I think the nice thing about friendship when you're younger is that you really can just you could say, I'm going to be your friend. And that's that. And so that was that. I literally trusted you at your word. I was like, oh, okay, we're friends. And chaos ensued. That's what happened. So it was never oh, this is my friend. But I had a moment where I'm like, oh, this is a close friend. And you knew I was going through stuff at home, with my dad and whatnot. And then we just had a lot of stuff happen. A lot of traumatic stuff happened at CA, both for me at home, both with you. And then it was just a lot. And so I felt like you were somebody that I could talk to. And then you had stuff that you were going through and you felt comfortable sharing it with me. And that just made me feel like it was like deeper than like a regular like friendship or like, oh, this is someone like I talk to and we hang out with, but like that's it. It wasn't like a surface level relationship. We had like an actual bond. And so I don't remember what happened first because again, memory. But between like the desk, like you getting hit by a bus, like all of that stuff.
I didn't get hit by
a bus. Sorry, I was on the bus and you got hit by a car.
I got hit by a car in front of a bus.
Yes, we were, and I was on the bus, like watching all of this stuff unfold. So like it just, yeah, I think that was weird because I was like, is she okay? Nobody was telling us anything, and I'm like, oh, I like might have lost my friend. And so it was just, yeah, I think it just was instances where it was very clear that our friendship was like deeper than surface level, which like you don't always get in high school either. So
wait, say that again.
You don't always get that in high school. Like some people like never meet a best friend in high school. So
yeah, no, for sure. I just think about the fact that there were only 3 of us and I still love Jenna and I'm in contact with Jenna, but I'm just like, wow, if you hadn't come that year or I hadn't come that, like, I can't imagine what my high school experience would have been without you.
Because we were together like all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
we were Tweedledee and Tweedledee.
Yes, that was the nickname.
But I was going to say, for added context, though, just about the whole car accident thing. So, yes, my freshman year.
You should probably elaborate on that one.
My freshman year, again, because I was always there all the time.
And I asked you, too. Sorry, finish the story, but now I'm like remembering more. I'm just like, did you ask me to get on that bus? We asked you to sleep over to go to the movies with us, but you could. I don't remember why, but you couldn't stay that weekend.
Yeah, that's a shocker to me because I feel like I took any excuse I had to sleep over. I was there, y'all. And so that weekend was our financial aid benefit thing. And so I had been there all day. And so I was walking home to the train station and a group of kids, because the school would take kids on trips, they were on a bus. And so I was crossing the crosswalk to head to the train station. And from the other way, it's so funny. All I can remember is walking the crosswalk and then coming to in the ambulance. So basically, I got hit by a car and everybody on the bus saw it. We heard bump and we're like, what happened? Everybody's like rushing to the windows and they're like, who is it? Who is it? And somebody was like, I think it's Daysha. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, you know me? Like, I'm like, that's not Daysha. But like somebody's like, no, that's Daysha. That's Daysha. I recognize her jacket. And so like me, I think Rachel, I forget who else was on the bus, but like we get off the bus and they're like, they don't let us see anything because obviously like we can't. But like everything I canceled, it was just, so you finish your story because it's like two things happen simultaneously. You'll help me fill in gaps because again, all I remember is being in the crosswalk. And then I came to in the ambulance and the guy's asking me to like, actually before that, I like was kind of like coming in and out. And I remember the EMTs were really mad at me about my jacket because it was one of those, this was winter time. So it was a puffy feather jacket. And so they're cutting through my jacket and like, they're just like, oh man, there's all these feathers everywhere. I remember that. Okay. But then he's like, can you wiggle your feet for me? Can you wiggle your feet? And I'm just like trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And then like, you know, like I just kept blacking out and coming to and blacking out and coming to. And every time I'd come to, there was like another random person in my face. But yeah, no, eventually I figured out that I got hit. And it's always funny because the doctors like to say that I got hit by the perfect size car, because if I'd gotten hit by anything bigger, I would have went under and likely wouldn't have survived. And if it had been anything smaller, I probably would have went completely over. And they make it seem like I wouldn't have survived. I don't know. I feel like maybe I would have, but I don't know. But perfect size car, dark joke. And yeah, I honestly feel like it was more traumatic for y'all on the bus than it was for me. I mean, obviously the aftermath and like learning how to walk again and all that shit was a lot. But as far as seeing somebody like get hit by a car, I'm sure.
That's true. I think for our part though, we heard it. We didn't see it. Oh. So like we heard tires breaking. We heard like impact. And they're like, oh, somebody's been hit. And I don't know, people at the front of the bus might have seen, but like us at the back, we didn't see it, but we heard it. When I was in the back, And then someone said it was you. So like we got off the bus to like see what was going on. And they canceled the trip, obviously. And so I go back to my dorm and I'm telling Lizzie what happened. And that was like when I realized that I have a really, like the way that my body responds to trauma is a little bit weird. Because I'm telling the story and I giggle because I'm like, Daysha got hit by a car. And like it wasn't because it was funny, but I think like my brain just like didn't know how to process it. And so that was like freaking me out too. Because I'm like, why the fuck am I laughing at this? What's going on? And I'm like, my friend is in the hospital and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I wonder if they call her mom. Like there was just a lot of things happening and we didn't like get any word back about like how you were doing and like till the next day. And so it was a weird experience because you just are kind of like sitting in limbo. And I'm glad you said it wasn't really painful for you when it happened because you didn't remember anything, but like it was crazy. And then I saw you in the hospital and like you were bruised, like your face was swollen, like you were in the cast. And so it was just like, oh dang, like she like were hit. And so it was just crazy.
I know. We went through like I think about it now because I'm always joking about it now, obviously because I'm okay. And it's just kind of funny. Like I'll be like, man, y'all, Dee laughed at me when she found out I got hit.
And like I felt I don't think you understand how bad I felt. And I told you about it because I was like, that's like I did not expect my body to respond that way. And it was only that one night. Like anytime I like relayed the information later, like obviously there was severity in my voice and there was at the time too, but like yeah. Anyway. Maybe was that like hysteria? I don't know. No,
yeah. I mean, honestly, what's so funny is that like it's happened to me too. Like I remember I was it wasn't really a car accident. So I was in a car with this woman who was kind of like a mentor. It was like me, her husband, and her. And the car skid and it was like really scary. But like I started laughing and I was like, I don't know why I am laughing right now because that was really fucking scary.
Yes.
I feel like her husband thought that I was like a little crazy after But yeah, like there are just some instances where I don't know why that happens, but yeah, no. So I'm light about what happened to me. But when I think about it now, I'm like, we were 14. This was before cell phones took over our lives the way that they do now. So like, you really did have to, like, I couldn't, not that I would have even had the capacity to like text y'all, but you just kind of had to wait. And, you know, we were so
and I didn't have
young.
Your mom's number either.
So that was like a pretty crazy, intense moment in our friendship. And yeah, but I think here we still are.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like that started like after that happened, I feel like between you and like getting back to normal and going through physical therapy, like that was like a catalyst for you too, in terms of like stuff that you went through in high school.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. Because, like, even though I was, like, loud and, like, boisterous with y'all, I was not that way in class. In class, I was very quiet. It was like you barely knew I was there. And I will say for myself, like, that summer of rehabilitating and stuff like that, like, I was just like, I never want to live this life ever again. I want to do all the things, go all the places. That definitely did jumpstart a desire to just, like, fucking live life to the fullest, I guess. And roll down hills for books. Roll down hills and cross freeways. Okay, so what do you think works well? Because I didn't answer about when did I feel like we were friends. Although I said that you were going to be my best friend. So I guess like the moment that we sat down next to each other, it was a done deal. Like, it's so interesting because I think you're one of the few, if not only people where I was just like, this is it. Done deal. You don't have a say in this. You're my friend, whether you like it or not.
Thank you. I feel very honored.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so I just find it interesting that it worked. Because I could totally see a situation where someone's like, what? What do you mean I have no say? But like legit, you had no say.
That is true. Like she's very adamant about it. I wish people could be a fly on the wall for it. Because like anytime she saw me, she was there. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is what we are now.
Oh my God. Give me a hug. And Dee would just be like, oh my God.
There's that too. Like, and I think also people didn't understand some of how we interacted with each other. Because we were sometimes like, I won't even say it sounded like we were like bickering siblings, but we were never mad at each other. You know what I mean? And there were instances where people
That's
thought
what was so funny about it, though. Like, because I remember one of Dee's roommates, Dee and I were just kind of, doing as we do. Because, like, I don't know how to describe the way I interact with you is very much the same way that I interact with my boyfriend now. Like, we just have these moments where I'm just like, damn, Dee, like, and Dee would be like, what did I do? And so we were having one of those moments, and Dee's roommate, she like timidly, like I remember she was like in her bunk bed, and she like looks over and she's just like, are y'all all right? And we're like, yeah, we're fine. And she's like, are you sure? Are you still friends?
And we're like, just, having a conversation.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, that was so funny. Stella was so concerned. And I was like, Stella, we are okay.
I do distinctly remember that.
Okay, what do you think works well about our friendship? Why do you think? Because Dee, we've been friends for hold on. Because it was 2010. So for almost 15 years now. It's coming up on 15 years of friendship.
That's true. Repeat the question. What was the question?
What do you think works well about our friendship? Like, how have we had it? Because a lot of people, even if they had a close friend in high school, like high school comes and goes, and then like they won't keep up. Like you and I still talk like we're 15-year-olds. So like,
that's a great question. Okay. I would say, I think it's a lot of things. And so I don't really know what the main thing is.
You just say what's on your heart.
I think we put effort into our relationship. And when it came time, post-graduation, which honestly, it wasn't that long ago. It was just before I applied to my MBA program. You called me and you let me know. You're very honest. And you were like, hey, I feel like you're not, and I don't remember the exact wording, but something along the lines of you're not investing time and energy into the relationship in the way that you felt like I should as someone who cares about our relationship. And that was very hard to hear. And I had never been called out about the way that I interact with my friends. But I sat down and I thought about it, and I'm like, I could have made some excuses. And I think both of us, needed to, at that certain point, invest some time into the relationship. But you put it out there into the world, which is what should have happened. And I appreciated that honesty. And I went on to try and do that. I'm sure there were some times where I stumbled, but I appreciated that because I don't think people are very honest about when they feel like they're losing people in a relationship that they want to keep in their life. And it made me, honestly, it hurt my feelings, but that's because I was just my ego was hurt in a certain way, you know what I mean? But it also was I actually have a friend that wants to be friends with me and cares about me and wants to hear from me. And for all the times where I felt like I didn't have friends and nobody cares about me, you literally are actually, I do care about you and you're not putting effort into the relationship, do better.
I didn't say it all like that, but I said a version of
She was very, but me, because I was again, my ego was bruised. That's how I heard it.
I know, you're an Aries.
I absorbed it.
Y'all always right. I know.
And so you were right. You're right. And so I went on to really take that to heart. And I just appreciate that. So again, back to why we became friends. You've always been very honest with me. And I appreciate that. Even when I was sometimes mad about it, because there was other stuff that happened in high school that I'm like, why you didn't tell me this earlier? But yeah, I would say for sure that honesty goes a long way with me, because I don't always have it in my family in terms of people who interact with each other in my family. And so it was good to have it. So that's one of the things. And then the other part is, I think after we graduated, we just also went to college together. We were tied at the hip up until undergrad, the end of undergrad. And then afterward, we put in effort to go see each other once a year.
I know.
And we went to Italy together. We've just experienced so many lifetime or life, what do you call them, those things? Milestones? Milestones.
Yes, milestones.
Together. And so it's how could you not stay together? It's we were the high school couple that got married, but we stayed together. You know what I mean? I don't know. We grew together and grew into different people, but the root of us stayed the same, whatever all those sappy things are, we did. I think that really actually means something in terms of keeping a relationship and a friendship alive. I don't know if that answered your question, but.
No, it does. Because you guys have to, I was the emotional, sappy one, and Dee is emotional, but Dee Dee's a little reserved in her emotions.
Yeah,
so
it's my thing that I have to work on in all relationships. You can say it. It's fine.
So whenever I get these tender moments, I'm like, Dee, oh my God. But yeah, okay. And I just want to preface it because people were like, dang, like you guys, like, we did experience life together. Like we went to high school together, went to college together, we studied abroad together, same country, same program. But I will say, in all of the togetherness that I feel like we were also really good at not suffocating each other and being like, even though we are doing the same experience, that doesn't mean that everything has to be the same. So like I had like my friends when I studied abroad, Dee had her friends, we would hang out together, but we would also hang out apart. Same thing in college. Like in college, we ended up in like the same core friend group, but even outside of that, we still had other people that we hung out with and, but like we were each other's home base. So I feel like we've always been good at like, even though we lived life together and there are a lot of people that would be like, wow, like you just did not, like for like 10 years, we just did not separate. I also feel like in that we were both really good at not suffocate, like not being so tied at the hip that we got sick of each other. Yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but when we were, because like Marielle was my bestie when we were abroad, Anna V was yours, but then we also like had core groups of people that we would hang out together when we were there. Forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, so I always feel like we've been good at like enjoying each other, but not being around each other to the point where it's just like, oh my God, Dee is with me again. Like I feel like we were always good about
that. Does make me ask a question though. Did you ever have instances in our relationship, or I always call it a relationship, we're just friends, but like that is a relationship.
I mean,
where there were times, were there times where you like ever felt like insecure about our friendship, or like you were like just things felt different to you?
I guess I'm curious, like insecure, but like did I ever feel like I was gonna lose you? Is that kind of like the insecurity? Like what would I have been?
It could be. That's a great question. I guess either like losing me or like she's spending more time with someone else or like any of that stuff.
I mean, I will say I used to be like that in like grade school. I had a best friend in grade school, and when she would get too close to other people, I would get very territorial. And then through that relationship, I just learned how that wasn't healthy. And so with you, I don't know, with you, I feel like there was some kind of confidence. And it's not to say that like I was slightly territorial of you. I was. But I also think that like there was a confidence there where I was like, but I'm her best friend, so I mean, she can hang out with all those other people, but she's coming back to me. So yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, I do remember sometimes feeling slightly territorial, but at the end of the day, also feeling like, but I'm number one, so I'd have to be like, fuck all these hoes because she's coming back to me. And that's fine. So they can go have fun, but she's coming home to me. But I'm also trying to think, like, if there was... I mean, I will say, when we started college, it's not that I was insecure that I thought that I would lose you, but it was, like, college, I think, was big because, when we went to boarding school, you already had the experience because you were from out of state, whereas I was just living, like, an hour away from home. And so college was really kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I am here in this state that I've never lived before. I don't know anybody. And so I will say college, maybe like freshman year, like especially like when there were times that like I had to go home. Like I remember there were like a couple weekends that I had to fly back to Massachusetts. And so then you guys would hang out and bond. And I was like a little jealous. But again, I never thought I was going to lose you because again, I'm number one. But
no, that makes sense. And I feel like in college, I met MK before I met anybody else because I knocked her shit down when she was moving in and had to help her.
What do you mean you knocked her shit down?
We were moving in and I like bumped into her or something and like that's how we met because I did something. And then she introduced me to Kopi, and I don't remember how we met Brianna and Shane, but were you friends with one of them? Like we ended up like introducing each other to each other, and like that's how the group came about.
I honestly don't remember.
And you knew Elaine, right? You would introduce Elaine to us, I feel like.
I did introduce Elaine to y'all, but I don't even remember how I met Elaine, to be honest.
We all just kind of like came together. I don't know how that happened because we weren't in the same dorms either. It was just me and Kopi in the same dorm, and not Kopi, MK.
Oh, I know what it was. It was the OBSA Black Student Orientation thing. I don't know about Elaine, how I got Elaine into the picture. I do remember I brought Elaine into the picture, but it was that retreat, that janky retreat that we went on. That was how we all connected.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we were in the mountains and it rained and thunderstormed. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's true. And we all sat outside together and like started talking. I do remember that. I don't remember the content of any of the things that we discussed, but that was like a pivotal moment in the friendship. We were pretty solid after that.
But yeah, so I feel like we've always been cool about having the same friend groups, but I'm not threatened by anybody.
Okay, that's good. You don't need to be, hopefully, especially at our age. We're good.
I just think it's so funny that like when I was younger though, I was like, but I'm number one, so it doesn't matter.
That's true. You know, I did have that experience actually, not in college. In college, I was fine. I think in high school, I had it when you became class president because you and Kendall were suddenly hanging out like all the time. And I was like, I don't see Daysha anymore. And I think that's also like when me and Rachel had been talking for a long time before that. But like that's when we started hanging out more. And then also when like Sam came into the picture, because me and Sam became friends sophomore year and then like progressed from then on out. But I remember I was like, I don't see her as often. And then I was doing, what was I doing? Emoja. And so like it was just busy. But then I was like, okay, I got over it quickly because I was like, well, we still hang out. And like, she still comes to seek me out. And like, she still wants to be friends. And so we were fine. But yeah, I did have a moment where I was like, oh, she's hanging out with other people more. And then I figured it out.
Oh, I did not know that.
That did happen for a little, it was short-lived. And I dealt with it on my own, as you know, I like to deal with things.
Yeah. You should have told me, because then I would have been like, Dee,
in our relationship where that happened.
You're number one. Huh?
No, I agree. I am number one. And that was the only instance where it happened. I think after that, like I figured out like we were pretty solid, especially when I found out.
I love how you're owning it now. You're like, yeah, I was number one.
Well, you told me. I trust you when you tell me stuff. That's, I don't have to question it. I'm like, okay, here we are.
I love it. Okay, is there anything you think that I could do better or that you could do better in the friendship?
I think mine will always be, I am not great at communicating if the person is not there. And it's never because they're like out of sight, out of mind. I just don't like interacting over technology. It's never been like my favorite thing. And I would rather see the person in person. So mine is always going to be like calling more often, keeping you up to date with like what's happening in my life, all that good stuff. Yeah. I think that we had that conversation when we did the like CA reunion thing with Kendall and Rachel. And Rachel was like, I don't know if I could consider y'all friends because we don't talk every day. And I'm like, that's fair. Like, but like, that's fair.
No, and Rachel said she couldn't consider us close friends.
Close, yes. Sorry. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I get it. That's fair. And so that requires you to like be more present. And so when y'all added me to the chat, I was like, okay, I'll try to like be more present. I'm still not as present because again, it really is a muscle and a skill that you have to like learn and flex. But I think that would be mine. On the flip side, I have all the friends that I consider close friends. We can immediately pick up where we left off, which is what I appreciate about all of you guys. And it doesn't feel like there's been like lost time or lost love. So I appreciate that. But definitely something I need to work on. You can ask my mother and she will talk about it all day.
Oh my God. That also reminds me. Your mom was like in the background of our friendship because as soon as your mom knew that I was your best friend, I was always, if she couldn't get to you, she was getting to me.
Yeah. She was like, what's her number? I was like, oh. But it's like I feel like that's a testament to like me and my communication style, which is I think why I get some grace from people. But it's a thing that I will always have to work on.
So is there anything that I could do better?
I would say for you,
be gentle, okay?
I'm thinking. I do think sometimes, I do have feelings where I'm like, sometimes I wish you would call more often or like do that. But I think it's because I think I like
Say less. I
maybe
will call you
set a cadence
every day.
You don't have to call me every day. I feel like that'll turn into a disaster. But I want us, yeah, I do want us like make time to like actually talk and catch up with each other more often.
You wasn't trying to answer my phone call when I was looking for you to record, though.
That was different. You call You call me like right at 5. I'm like, I'm trying to hop on. Like, give me some time. Second of all, I had to put my bags down. I like just got in here. I was like trying to rush to make it here on time, but I would have picked up. Had this not already been scheduled. You were going to see my face in literally like 30 seconds. Anyway. Mm-hmm. But yes, that would be one. I think there was also, granted, like, I think this was more so me than you, but I'm going to tell you I had this feeling. So I can't tell if it's something that you actually need to work on or just I was in my feelings at the time. But when I was dating my ex, who was like a mess of a relationship, that was when I felt like I would have wanted to hear from you more. But I will also preface that and say that like I wasn't doing what I needed to do and like be honest with you about what I was experiencing and going through. So you didn't know until like afterward. But I think during that time, I probably needed friends more and to hear from friends more. And I just didn't. And I can't tell if that's no like, it's weird because there's no criticism towards you because I probably pulled away from a lot of people in my life. But I wanted people to like pull me back in, which you wouldn't know. Like you can't predict that, but I had those feelings at the time. And I think if we were both more consistent with like calling each other on like a monthly or like however basis, I always wonder if that relationship would have been different and if you would have knocked some sense into me early. My mom tried to for sure, but like I think it's different when you hear it from your friends versus your parents. But yeah.
I love that you said that. I love that this is a conversation we're having. Because I will say, so again, I think I'm always reflecting. And I think that from like when we were kids, I had moments where I was like, you know what? I can be a lot. And I know that Dee is a little more mellow. And so I think that there were times where I was trying to be like, let me not be so much. But now that I know, again, I won't call you every day, but like, it does make me feel good. But like, I am really happy and excited to hear you say that because I also feel like I'm like, yeah, like we could talk so much more often. And life be lifing, and that's kind of like what happens. But like, yeah, I think there was a part of me that was like, am I doing too much? Because I don't want. I don't want to.
You were never doing too much. Like I always be like, oh, she's a lot, but you were never too much. Like that there's a difference. There's a distinction. I hope you see that. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
I have another like really good friend. His name is Michael, and he is also a lot. But like let me figure out how much I need. Like you shouldn't be the one to like stifle who you are. Like if I need to take a break, I'll let you know. Or if I need to call you back in like a week, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? Like don't feel like you need to do that.
But yeah, I love that. Also, honestly, I wish I had gotten some like spidey sense about that fuckface that you were with and like that I could have known. It makes me really mad to think that you were going through all that and like I wasn't as present, and I wish that I had been. So
again, though, like a lot of it was because I didn't say anything. Remember that piece. Like my family was like super close and they didn't necessarily know everything. So, and it's a lesson for me to always keep your friends close, and not because they're enemies, but because they're your friends. You should keep them close.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so happy to hear that I can call you more. I love that. Because also since doing this too, I do get a lot of joy getting to reconnect with my friends and like people who are like my best friends, like way more often than I was. I feel like prior to COVID, it was kind of like if I can't see you in person, like we kind of forgot what the phone was or what Zoom was or whatever. And then COVID hit and it was like, oh, I can still actually connect with people, even if they're not in front of me. And I don't know how COVID, I mean, I understand how COVID knocked that into my understanding, but I guess that's one of the silver linings of the pandemic, I guess. If we're going to take
it really was. Because you're like, I need to talk to people. And there are some people that I talk to all the time at one point in my life. Maybe we should reconnect.
Yeah. But it's not like we didn't have the ability to do that before COVID. It was just something about, the pandemic made me realize. Wait, say that again?
You didn't have the distraction. Like, you were still working, but like there were just so many other things that like would distract you and be like, oh, I still have to do this. I have to do this. I got to do this. I'll call them later. And those things were gone. And so I think you just had more time, and like you realized kind of like a lot of people were like, I realized what was important during the pandemic. And for a lot of people, those were their relationships.
Yeah. Okay. I already talked to you about what you could do better, and I think you're doing great. So
Wait, did you? Wait, what could I do better?
No, when you said that I had like called you and had been like,
okay.
Yeah. So you're getting there. So okay. Dee's not great with birthdays, and it's been a thing for years. It's something that's always been a thing. But one year I was like, Dee, can you please just try to remember my birthday?
I know we're going to talk about this.
But Dee has put in so much effort that sometimes she's early. But sometimes she gets it on the day, and it's always such a treat.
I did this year.
You did. You got it exactly right this year.
So in my defense, you know how you sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to set it the alarm will go off a week in advance. And obviously you forget you did that like a year later. Yep. And so I was like, oh, it says it's Daysha's birthday. Like, how did I miss it? And so that's what happened that one year. I have since.
I mean, it's funny though too, because I will like have the calendar invite. I will have it in my mind like the day before that it's somebody's birthday, and then it'll be the day after, and I'll be like, holy fuck, what happened? I was so on top of it until I wasn't.
I did that with my mom, actually. Granted, like I talked to her like just before midnight the night before, so she was like, I heard from you and you told me early birthday, so it's whatever. I was like, yeah, but I was supposed to call you the day of too. Yeah. So I'm nothing if consistent. I will tell you that. Okay.
No, and so it was one of those things where, I was like, she's terrible. She's just terrible with dates across the board. But then I was like, but then I did some recon with myself, and I was just like, it would just be really nice. And you heard me, and then you worked to do better, and then you did it. So here we are. And then, I guess as far as what I can do better, I mean, I think it's just nice to know, because I think I always worry about, am I being annoying? I think that's what it was. Not just suffocating, but also annoying.
Have I ever made you feel like you were being annoying?
No, I don't think it's you making me feel that way. I think, again, I'm always self-reflecting. And so I'm just like, I am always like, man, was I being annoying? Like, should I pull back? Should I, And so I love that we're having this conversation, because now that I know that I can call you all the time, I'm going to call you all the time. I won't call you every day, but I'll call you all the time.
Sounds good. I like that.
Okay. But I also think that, I guess another thing that I would put forward to us, I think we should make more of a conscious effort, and I can, because I'm the one that has not left the state, but I can go, I should visit you more often. I would love for us to see each other in person more often, but I do realize that the onus is on me now, because you've been in my house twice. So I respect that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that one.
All right. What is your favorite friendship memory?
Ooh, my favorite one. That is such a good question.
I mean, there's so many, because we spent a decade together.
There are a lot of different ones, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out which ones it would be. I think it's a toss-up between us hanging out after coffee house. I don't know. There was a high that we were riding that night, and I just had a great night with my friends, you included, and it was just a really good memory. And I think the other one is, and I don't know why this is a favorite memory of mine, because we didn't even really do much, but we we studied abroad together, and your aunt let us stay at her house, and I just thought that was so cool. And you invited me to come. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then we just roamed the streets on our own. I think Mario was there too. Was Mario there too? No, it was just me and you.
Someone was there. It was three of us.
Was there. It was Mario.
No, it was me,
there.
You, and somebody else.
I think it was Mario, because I remember we were in that Ferris wheel thing together. You remember?
Yeah,
and there was a picture of us together. And I just thought it was so cool to be in another country with my best friend, and living this weird life together. And I remember that for us. I think just being in Italy with you, like having your best friend in Italy, like made it better. Like I was homesick for maybe like all of 3 weeks, but then I'm like, I have my best friend here. And like we got to like experience my 21st birthday together, which like didn't feel like as much because I was like, oh, we are here drinking.
Yeah.
And we would like go out to that club together. Like just that entire time was just fun. Like,
do you remember that trash guy?
I do. Yes.
That guy who hit on me, and then I was like, I have a boyfriend. And so then he turned to you and was like, so.
I was like, no. There was a lot of different stuff. So I think, it was an experience because obviously that's more than one memory. But like, that was like a really good time. And we were all broke for like making it work together. That was just like it was a different time. And then there were just other like smaller moments, and it's not memory. It's not a specific memory. It's just like, I just call them experiences because we were together all the time. And it was when we would hang out. I don't remember what it was, the computer lab, like doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
That's like a core memory.
Lab. It was the language lab.
The language lab. Thank you. Yes. Just like being down there all the time and like forming memories. That was also good. You would always come hang out with me in the photography studio because me and Martine were down there. Like there was just a lot of like different like small things. We all watched Gossip Girl and
you guys watched Gossip Girl. I was mad.
Did you watch Grey's Anatomy with us? I feel like
I didn't watch Grey's either.
What did you watch with us?
Do you know what I do remember? I love telling this to people. Do you remember when we were watching Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the like director's cut?
Oh, because that's when I'm blanking her name. Yeah. Really
she walked in right as his penis was just full.
Ben's wife. What was her name? Ben and Annie, right?
No. This was AdMad. This was who lived in AdMad? I remember it was a blonde woman. It was Sally Zimmerly. It was Sally Zimmerly.
Oh, okay.
But yep, I remember because literally his dick, like he like dropped his towel. Sally opened the door, was like, hey,
a lot of screaming.
We were all like, oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That was so great. That was hilarious. I can't remember if she made us turn off the movie or not.
No, we continued to watch it, but I think we had to explain ourselves because she's like, what are you guys watching? Because like at that point, probably like a porno or something. We had to like explain what we were doing. But I think we got to finish it.
Yeah.
It was different times. And you remember the other memory, which is like, it's just strange. Do you remember when we recorded that video? We were like, dun, 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 Big Mac, dun, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, it's Big Mac. You remember that YouTube video?
I remember the YouTube video. And I remember, so it wasn't the language lab, but it was the lab by the photography area. And we would do silly shit on that computer too. And we would take like stupid selfies and record videos and shit. I do remember that.
Yeah, we were like two little rascals. There are a lot of memories. I don't know which one is my favorite, but some of them are more memorable than others for sure. Yes.
Oh my God.
Wait, what was yours?
Yeah, oh my God. That was, wow. Yep, we would watch a bunch of YouTube videos and like hang out and yeah. Oh my gosh, you're really taking me down memory lane. Wow. Okay, my moment, you're gonna hate me for this, but like it was really funny. Do you remember when you slept over in my dorm? And so every Saturday night, the house parents would make like a special treat for us, and it would be like a really decadent treat. And so Dee slept over, and I don't know how this happened, but Dee like fell like down the stairs as she was walking, and she had like a bowl of whatever it was. But when she got to the bottom of the stairs, she still had the food.
I call that, why do I need to feel bad? I feel like that was like the ultimate skill. Ultimate skill. I know what you were going to say. I was like, what did I do?
No. But that will just always stick out to me because let me tell you, that bowl was unscathed.
I don't even remember what was it?
I don't remember either.
I do remember that. I remember that, yes.
But yeah, Dee, like, I don't know how she fell, but she fell. But that bowl, I just remember she was like mangled at the bottom, but her hand was up and that bowl was safe. Oh
I like
man.
food. I feel like you should
Yeah, I
protect it
mean,
as well as you
listen,
can.
that was like Olympic level skill for you to make it down the stairs the way that you did, and that bowl was intact.
I'm surprised you remember that.
No, I will never forget that, D, because that was like,
You know what I thought you were going to say?
what?
I thought you were going to talk about when I fell into that, are they called manholes? Potholes?
Oh my gosh. Well, you didn't fall in. You thought you were going to fall in.
It felt like I would. Like my whole life ended for like 3 seconds. And I think that was like the first time you heard me curse.
Yes.
And it took
Because
me
D,
a
you
couple
didn't
of
really curse
weeks
back
before
then.
you guys stopped talking about it. Yeah, that's true. I did.
Yeah, listening to D curse now is so weird to me because you went out of your way not to curse, whereas I was like,
I don't think I went out of my way. It just didn't. There are other words.
I guess. I always like, if I could curse, I did curse. I still do, but it is so weird to hear you curse now. I'm not gonna lie.
I do curse more often now. Yeah. The world has hardened me.
Damn, D.
It's needed sometimes.
But yeah, so you had a fear of like falling into like the manholes, and there was one that was in the middle of the campus quad, and I don't remember, but like were we walking, or like I still don't remember why you just like randomly were like shit, and I was like, what is happening?
Because it was deep. Like it was covered by the grass, and so you couldn't see it. And so this is the grass. The manhole was down here. So like this foot like just kept falling like further than I would have imagined. And so it felt like I was about to fall into something. I thought like the manhole was uncovered and I was going to keep falling. And I don't know how to describe it other than that. And so even to this day, like my reaction is to say shit, if I feel like I'm gonna like fall, like that's like what my brain does, or like what the fuck, like what's about to happen. That's what happened. I don't know. I feel like it's a normal human reaction. Actually, I've never seen anybody else do that actually, but that's what it felt like. So here we are.
Yeah. No, I do remember that though. Yeah, I mean, now that you bring it up, I mean, obviously the bowl one is like a good one, but like, yeah, we just had so many random, and it's not even necessarily like we were doing big grandiose things. It was literally, I think some of my favorite moments were us just like sitting around somewhere, whether that was like in the language lab or in the common room of a dorm or in the stew fac. Like it was us just sitting there chilling, talking about what was going on in the world or like in our lives. And yeah,
I think what was nice too was like, I think everybody always knew that we were hanging out together. And so it would be us hanging out together, and eventually like other friends would come and be like, oh, there's Daysha and Dee, let's hang out. And then other friends would come. And so like a lot of times you would end up, especially on like the weekends, like with just a big group of people hanging out, coming in and out. Cause we used to hang out in the kitchen, like the diner. What was it called?
Yeah,
we would hang out in that little recessed area.
Yes. Well, so freshman year, we were always in that recessed area. And then sophomore and junior year, we were just always sitting at the tables.
Yeah.
And then senior year, we were just always at the senior tables.
And everyone would always just come in and out on Saturdays. And so we would be there until like 2 or 3, even though we
would get there
like
for
10
brunch.
or 11 for breakfast. Yeah.
We would get there for brunch and we'd be there until like the sun went down, and people would be like, you still haven't left? Like people would go.
They're like, it's study hall now. Like, so what? But yeah, we had the gift of gab, actually.
Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, it's kind of what we did when you guys came to visit me at my house. And I loved it. It really brought me back to high school. Like, it was like we were all sitting in the common room, watching a movie. Only we could have alcohol this time.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. What has our friendship taught you about making friends?
I would say that what I valued the most for this particular relationship and like what I bring into other ones would be you can be yourself, and being yourself I think is like super beneficial, because when you meet somebody and you're yourself, you just kind of like instantly connect because there's nothing about you that you're hiding, and so it just creates like such a nice vibe, and you like feel like you guys know each other for a long time. So I appreciate that. But outside of that, like you literally are the friend who like taught me like consistency is key. And that's because we've always been together. I don't know how to describe it other than we've always been together. And so it really is true. Like, I think there are so many times where you'll meet somebody and you're like, we really like got along, and like nobody follows up with each other, or like you do, and it gets to a point where it's like, oh, like, can I hang out with this person more? They're gonna think that like I'm being overbearing. Like, how often should we hang out? And like, don't think about that stuff. Just like hang out with each other because you like each other and you want to see each other. And if they're busy, they'll tell you. And so I feel like that's what we did. Like, when we could hang out with each other, we hung out with each other, and if we were busy, like we were busy. But like we like made time for each other. I think that's the important one. Like we literally did make time for each other, and I like saw it after we graduated, and we still made a point to see each other and call each other and like see how we were doing. And I can't say that I did that for like everybody that I interacted with, who I still got along with. And so now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, there's actually some other people that I would like to pick up our relationship again and like cultivate that relationship and like become friends in the way that we were. And I just think it's important, and I think people forget about it. And I think sometimes people need reminders, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad friend. It means that you just need to focus again.
Oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? I actually had another friendship memory pop up into my head as we were, because as you were saying, like, you know, like be yourself and, you know, connect. One of the things that I love about Dee is that who Dee is, like, this is Dee. Dee is consistently yourself, because I would do, you know, how I do videos, and I've had this like BuzzFeed career and like all of these things. And so early in my like video production career, I would like tap Dee to like be and stuff for me. And even when I was at BuzzFeed, I made Dee be and stuff. And
I locked it from my memory.
There's a video that I did in college, and it was around this poem that I wrote. And so I had different people recite different lines, and I told Dee, I'm like, you gotta be in it, like, please. And she was like, all right, fine.
I was supportive. I am nothing but a supportive friend. Yes, I am very supportive towards you. Extremely.
I mean, even being on the podcast, Dee was like, do I have to? And I was like, yes. So Dee is nothing short of supportive. But so in this video, I'm having different people, and so I'm cutting in between the people. And Dee is Dee, man. And so you would have somebody saying this like really impassioned line, and then you'd cut to Dee being super chill and super mellow. And it was just...
You know, in my defense, I'm not good for like, I had to read something. I had to read from a sheet of paper, and I don't know how to have inflection in my voice. And I'm reading, I'm like very monotone. And so that's all you heard. It was very monotone.
Yeah. Oh man.
And here I'm thinking, I thought I was like using like different inflections. So when she played it back, I was like, delete it. Just delete it. And she did. Not only did she not delete it, wasn't I a blooper? Part of it was a blooper. I distinctly remember I was like at the end, like rolling credits. I was like, oh, there I am. Oh,
I gotta find that video.
No, you don't. You don't need to find it. It's fine.
It was so good. Oh man. But yes, I mean, in addition to like that being a friendship memory, but also like what it's taught me about friendship is that, like, you know, I appreciate the way that, again, you just always come along for the ride, even if it's not necessarily a ride you want to be on. Like, but you are also always yourself, and I always appreciate that.
Welcome.
And so yeah, I think that it is just so imperative. Like, I can also tell when I feel like someone's not being themselves too, and so I just feel like I really value relationships where I feel like the person is being very genuinely themselves, and you have always been genuinely Dominique Smith.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I try to stay true.
Oh, man. Oh, God. You have been in some of my favorite videos. I, like, just can't. I really gotta find that video.
I'm surprised. I'm like, well, I wonder where it is. It's meant to like just saying, don't put it back into the limelight. Just leave it there.
I don't have
You're
to put it
good.
in the limelight, but I want to watch it for myself.
Actually, I do want to see it because I'm like, well, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. I really don't think I am. But maybe it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, maybe it's not as bad as, but
it was actually a fun day though. Like I was like, this is some BS. Like I'm trying my best here, and my best was really just monotone. But it was a fun day. I remember that.
it's on a hard drive somewhere. I'm gonna find it, I swear. Is there anything you're nervous about for the future of our friendship?
Honestly, no. I can't picture what I would be nervous about for our friendship. I know some people are like, oh, like, what if you have kids and like we don't interact anymore? But like, I like kids, so I'm gonna just be over there being like, you need help? You want to babysit?
No.
We're good. You'll eventually get married, but like, I still hang out with people who are married. Like, I don't know. I don't have any like fears of that. I try not to focus on the fears. I don't think I have any. I guess the overarching fear will always be like, what if we aren't friends anymore? But like something like really big would have to happen for that to happen. And I can't foresee like what would be in our future for us not to be friends anymore,
Yeah. I mean, we've survived a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Part of that question comes from when I do my research. There was like one book in particular that was talking about for a lot of women, it's interesting how kids and getting married really deteriorated their close friendships. And sometimes I would be like, just the way that they would describe their friendships ending over some of these things. Like one woman talked about how she lost her best friend because she didn't want to go to the kid's birthday party. And I was just like, were you guys actually best friends to begin with?
Like, it was like, what do you mean? You should be there helping her out, like planning it. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like it was just like, like I don't. But then again, as I do this, like especially having just done the boundaries episodes, I think you and I actually have been really good about boundaries over the years. And I think that's where the like what I was talking about earlier, where like even though we've been attached at the hip for like over a decade, I think that we've always been good. Like I think that space was really just us being very good at boundaries.
That's true.
And I don't think that other people are good about, and then we also speak very clearly to one another. Like I was like, you gonna be my friend? And you said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But like you were never afraid to be like, I'm not doing this, or I'll do this, but not that. And like, I think that in our friendship, the last guest that I had, she talked about, it's hard to leave your comfort zone. But like, if you think about it as expanding your comfort zone, it makes it easier to like take on new things. And I think that that's also something that really works about our friendship. I think that we kind of push each other to expand our comfort zones. I also think maybe that's why we weren't necessarily always threatened by the new relationships that we had in our lives, because we always knew I was your number one and you were my number one. And so, we were just kind of expanding the comfort zone.
And like you're a human being with like varied interests, so like there are going to be other things that you get along that like you have common interests with, or like different ways of expressing yourself with other people, and like that's just human. And so again, I like treat this like a relationship, and I'm like, you can't be everything to everyone, and you should have varied relationships. I think it's like fruitful to have that, especially because you can then like bring other people together. And I think that's like what part of like what our friendships have done. Like a lot of our friends are friends with each other. And so I don't know. I think it's an important thing. So
yeah, I'm trying to think that if I have any fears about the future. Again, I love that we're having this conversation, because I think maybe a fear I had was just feeling like, because you'll always be my friend, but feeling like, I guess I just didn't want to be annoying. And so now that I know that I'm not annoying, but yeah, I think maybe there was like a slight fear that it's just kind of like, oh, well, eventually when Dee gets married and has a family, is there going to be more space than there is now? Because I can barely handle what's happening now.
I know you're trying to get me to move to LA. No, I do. That's true. Okay, I can see from that perspective. And I don't, but even then I'm like, I understand, like if you had kids or like if you get married, I understand that takes time and energy and resources. And so the capacity in which we can be friends now is going to look different, but that's not going to make me not. I'm never going to be like, oh, well, like she has her family now. She doesn't need me. I'm like, no, I'm here. Invite me over. Like we can hang out while you're breastfeeding. Like, I don't like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't need you. Like, I shouldn't feel like an interruption in your day-to-day life. If we meet only for you to go grocery shopping and that's how we meet every week, but we still get to hang out with each other, like, let it be that. I think it's harder because we don't live in the same state. But like, however I can get my friends so that we can catch up and hang out, like, that's just what it'll be. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you have to work, but I want to come visit you, go work and we'll hang out after work for a couple hours. Like, I don't know. I just, that just feels weird. It feels weird to me when people are like, we can't be friends anymore because she had a kid. I'm like, that. I'm supposed to be the auntie. I'm still over there.
Yeah. No, I am the exact same way. This is why we're friends. This is what I saw 15 years ago across the field when I saw you. I knew. But yeah. No, I feel the exact same way. And I also think, like, with us being in boarding school, and I'm curious if that just comes more naturally to us, the idea of like, oh, you know, like we can just hang out while you're grocery shopping, or we can just hang out while you do, because we were always hanging out, just doing like random shit. Mm-hmm. And so I feel That's like true. Especially for us, like that is not the idea of just hanging out and doing random shit or running errands or whatever. It's not foreign because like that has been our existence forever.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah. We have like lived lives where our friends are not with us 24/7.
Well, you answered that question like a true Aries, no fears, because y'all ain't scared of nothing. I am so happy that I got to have you on the podcast. And I'm also just like really happy because I feel like we got a new level of depth here, and I'm going to call you. I might be a little annoying at first. I'll figure out the tempo. I will.
It is completely fine. And I will call you more often so you don't have to feel like you're badgering me or anything. It'll be like such a nice little balance that we create. It'll take some time. I can't lie to you. It'll take some time, but I'll get there.
All right, Dee. So to close out every episode, we play this game called Scroll Double Tap DM. And it's essentially a version of Kill Fuck Marry. And since we were perpetually on the internet when we were kids, fooling around, acting a fool, I thought there's no better way to do Scroll Tap DM this week than to do cats, dogs, or geese because of our former president and his running mate spreading, I don't even know what you'd call it. I don't even want to call it a rumor because it's just so like, it's just dumb, just stupidness about Haitian immigrants eating cats, dogs, and geese. So I sent you a video because they turned that line from the debate into a song, and it lives rent free in my head, Dee. I am always dancing and like twerking to this song. Like I can't tell you how many times Jess has caught me being like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. I'll play the song for you so you can really get the effect.
Okay.
Get this. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
And then she's dancing.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Oh, wow. Okay. Turn anything into a meme.
I love how the comments, they're like, how did we become the new adults? But I'm like, we were doing this when we were 14 years old too.
That's true. We were. Nothing has changed. Okay. That's a great question.
Cats,
okay. Actually,
dog, geese.
I 100% I'm going to scroll past geese because they're ruthless. They will like, have you seen like those videos of geese attacking human beings? Like they just are like not nice.
No,
or
I
even
did not
like
know
nice to look at. Like they're not my favorite animal. I would 100% scroll past the geese.
I'm like, what? I can't remember what geese look like. Hold on.
I feel like you should know what the geese look like if you're gonna be.
I should, but because I was like, aren't they kind of like a duck?
They will attack you. Geese will attack you. You should like not get close to them if they're upset. I don't know what agitates them to begin with, but
interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely a scroll sort of thing.
Dee's like, I'm not fucking with these geese.
Yeah. Okay. And then of course, I'll double tap the dogs because they're cutie pies and I love them when they're puppies and they just are like so excited to see you. They're very adorable. But as you know, I have an allergy to animals, cats and dogs included. And dogs I turn out to be more allergic to. So I like to look at them from afar. That being said, the allergy medication I take now, they're fine, but they're not my favorite animal. So they're a double tap because they're cutie pies. But they also sometimes just stink. And
I don't think that's the dog's fault though. I think that's the human's fault.
That's fair. But you know who I don't have to worry about stinking for the most part? Cats. Because they groom themselves.
They groom themselves, but also cat pee, from what I've heard, is
very pungent. Unless you need to make sure your cat is hydrated. Not a lot of people do that. I am a stickler for it. She always has water available. But as long as you take care of the kitty poop and litter, we're good to go for the most part. So that's that. I just have always loved cats. They kind of they have their own personality. They do what they want. They like you if they want to like you. They don't like you if they don't. But you still need to feed them regardless. And I just like that. I like the way that cats do that. They also are just incredibly cute, both as kittens, but also as adults, especially when they're kind of playing and you see their eyes just dilate back and forth because they are trying to pretend that they're lions and on the attack. It's just cute to see. I'm sure they don't want to be considered cute. That's their really important time where they are doing big cat things. But
they're like, Mom, this isn't cute. I'm violent. Right? I'm a big cat.
That's not what I see. Not what I see, but it's okay. Of course you are. So yeah, I would 100% DM a kitten. Slide in there.
All right. So here's the thing, because I thought that I would be a cat person. And then I took care of a cat. And I realized, and I've always known the cat doesn't live with you. You live with the cat. I know that cats are dominant. I still didn't like it, but it's hard. I have strong cat energy. My vibe as a person is a cat. Sometimes I want to play with you. And then other times I'm leave me the fuck alone. I'm sitting here grooming or sleeping or doing whatever. I look at a cat and I see myself spiritually. And I almost think that's why I'm not going to, I won't go as far as to say I'd scroll past them, although cats can be crazy, but
crazy like dogs when they have
No. I mean, and I'm biased, so I have a dog, and he's shown me that even though I have cat energy, I can't be around, I can't be around myself. It's too much cat energy. See? I need the silly, goofy, ridiculous. Dogs are crazy in a goofy way. Cats are crazy and I will eat you if you die. If you die in this house, I'll give,
that's cat prejudice. My cat, she's cute.
I will give you a day.
Play with her little cat dip toys. I mean, that's true. That's true. I'll give you that one. She does not have loyalty in that way. But I mean, I'm dead. Preferably don't eat my face. Maybe start at the feet. But
Yeah. And here's the thing. I respect that. I do. I get it. Because you're well, I got to eat. You're not here. No one's putting anything in my kitty bowl while you down there dead. So I respect it. But again, I'm you're not going to eat me. So.
But what if the dog dies because it was I can't eat my human? Now you got 2 dead bodies to deal with.
Yeah, Survive. But the dog would just be loyally sitting there being I will love you until you're my dying
people
breath.
Who are oh, that's so sweet. I'm the dog just died because it loved you too much. And that's why I have a cat.
The dog and I will be together.
And that's why you have a dog. That's true. I mean, but you don't want to have a long life?
I do, but again, I don't. I want it to live as long as I can't imagine a life without Harlow. So
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
All I'm saying is if I go, Harlow's coming with me. But yeah, I think I would DM the dog. I would give a like to the cat because I respect it. I respect their hustle. Like, I see what they do and I'm like, game recognized game. But
I will say, I feel like cats are the ones that convince you to like them. Like, even if you don't like them, you like begrudgingly start to like them. So they do have that going for them.
So I'm like, I recognize your smarts. I respect it. You know, energetically, we are the same. But I think if it was me and a cat in a house, it would be too much of the same. And there can only be one big cat, you know? Like, there's only one head bitch in this house, and that's me. And then I feel like, I mean, I don't know as much about geese as you do. Apparently, they are not the ones to fuck with. But then again, you know, like, so I'm gonna scroll on them solely because I don't know as much, because them, like, basically having boundaries and saying, do not fuck with me, I also respect that. So
but
I'm scrolling for lack of knowledge.
Fuck with other people.
What?
They fuck with they invade other people's boundaries to fuck with them. That's what they're like.
Dee, it's what geese hurt you? What goose hurt you?
None. I've heard horror stories though. I need you to go look up, go on YouTube, go on TikTok, just Google geese attacks.
Okay. I just feel, it feels personal, and I just want you to know that I'm here.
I'm just saying there are other more adorable birds that won't attack you.
Okay, Dee.
That's
okay.
all.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. If you will allow yourself to come back, I think you did great. This is nothing like that video. So you are always welcome back if you want to come back.
My voice wasn't monotone this time because it felt like it was. I'm like, I don't even know at this point.
I mean, Dee, your voice, you are authentically you. So we'll listen to the episode when it, you know, it'll come out, and then you let me know if you want to come back. But you are always welcome back for other stuff. But it's been fun to have you.
I'll take that as an honor, because you could have been like, you know what? This is great. You don't have to come back anymore. And I think I would have felt worse. So that's good.
All right, y'all. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed getting to know my bestie from another testie, Dee. It was so fun to go down memory lane with her, as well as make new discoveries in our relationship. In fact, I think that y'all should ask your besties the same questions. I'm learning as I get older that we can sometimes let too much space and time creep into our closest relationships, and then people get afraid to bring things up, and then hurt goes unsaid and brews into resentment, and everything spirals out of control. So the best way to keep that from happening is to just use your voice. Say what's in your heart. Even if it's not fully fleshed out, don't be afraid to work through what you're feeling with your friend and figure it out together. And trust, I know it's scary. I've done it many times before. But I hope that from hearing about my experiences of being honest with my best friends, it will allow you to see that it's possible to have productive, real talk conversations. If you want to learn more about Dee, I actually have to check if she wants y'all to have her information like that. Otherwise, you'll just have to get to know her more on a future episode. As always, if you're having any thoughts, feelings, or revelations that you want to share with me, please feel free to hit me up on social media, within our free Facebook group, or on our exclusive Patreon, where so many great bonuses are coming your way soon. All right, besties, I'll catch you next time. Your girl is out. Loving Real Talk Friend Therapy? Of course you are. So don't forget to show us some love with a 5-star review wherever you are listening, and to join our Patreon to unlock bonus recordings, videos, private chats, and more.